Well, at least Justin Tucker didn't break our hearts this time.
Yo, dudes, Oren here. So the Detroit Lions are no longer going to be ranked number one or number two in the fridge magnet power rankings category. I'm talking about the team that brands itself as the villains. So because they lost to the Baltimore Ravens, they got beat pretty badly by a score of 38-6, and it's somewhere before the 2-minute warning on this game. I think because I'm listening it to the radio at this point, because the game was so one-sided that the Fox broadcasting station network had to cut the broadcast right after Mark Andrews' touchdown there in the third quarter, and they cut to another game. And yeah, it was pretty clear. The Ravens, they won their coin toss, and they decided they wanted to get the ball first in the first half. Because they wanted to get off to an aggressive start right out the gates, and that's exactly what they did, especially in the first quarter. A disastrous first quarter where they got up 28-0. Disastrous, on our defensive side of the ball and disastrous on the offensive side of the ball, although the offense barely got to do anything because the Ravens offense was dominating the time on the game and scoring touchdowns and everything. And I think the coordinators, the schemers, Aaron Glenn, I think he got out-schemed quite a bit in this game. Baltimore apparently has a new offensive coordinator who came from the Georgia Bulldogs or something, and they were able to scheme up a bunch of really clever plays that got them a lot of big gain and big chunkage yards. And it appears Lamar Jackson is no longer a power run type of quarterback, but now he passes the ball and then runs when he needs to. And he'll take advantage of the fact that they think he might power run with the ball, and then he'll dump it off to somebody who's wide open. And then while everybody else committed to Lamar Jackson, and then they'll take off for a bunch of yards because nobody was left to get him and things like that. So at the start, it looked like Lamar Jackson was getting a lot of time. Hutchinson was almost there, almost getting close to him a couple of times, and then he got a penalty for, I guess, personal roughness of the quarterback or whatever, and then right afterwards, I got a fumble recovery from him. So it was like that. Him going against Jalen Hurts in that first game of last season, and then the result of this game is kind of like a mix of like when they played the Patriots as well as when they played the Panthers, both on the road, both games from last season. And it was a road game. It was against an AFC team, and it was a very, very windy game. So much so that during one of the kickoffs, Justin Tucker twice had to go and readjust the ball because it fell off because the wind blew it off the tee. So it was definitely an away game where the home team had the advantage, and that just so happened to not be the Lions today. And Goff got sacked at least like 5 times. I know Vaitai appeared to have been back, but he must have he must not have been warmed up for that game. And then Jonah Jackson was out in this game, so I'm concerned about our offensive guards at this point and what sort of protection and everything. And I know in the first half, at least, Penei Sewell had 2 penalties. That second one on a key pass that Amon-Ra St. Brown apparently caught, and it was called back on a penalty. You saw St. Brown slam the ball on the ground as a result of that. And I feel like I'm seeing this too many times where Penei Sewell will have games where he's had multiple penalties. Like I remember last season against Dallas, he and Taylor Decker both had 2 penalties each, all on the same drive against Dallas, which helped cost them that game. And Sewell was getting penalties in games earlier this season, and he has 2 in this game. This guy was the first person that we drafted in the Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell era. He was called a generational talent by many, and some people thought he'd be the most likely person to be in the Hall of Fame from that draft class. But it's what's hindering him. And the reason why he wasn't like a outright all pro last year and a reserve instead was the fact that he had too many penalties. And the penalties appear to not be going away. My preference for Penei Sewell would be if he just got one penalty at least every 4 games and then just keep that ratio going. Basically, what I'm trying to say is stop getting penalties, Penei Sewell! Anyways, yeah, there's not really much to say in this game, although I'm not really like too devastated by this loss because I wasn't 100% that we were gonna lose, or I didn't think we were gonna win against the Baltimore Ravens. And my preseason prediction, I predicted us losing. I did not think we would get blown out this bad, but I guess that's karma. But the Lions are still they're still 5-2, and they're still in the lead in the NFC North. So that's still really good. They probably won't be looked at as one of the elite teams, at least not right now. Baltimore should be looked at as an elite team. I think their story arc is usually they're thought of as one of the best teams, one of the most elite teams when they are healthy, but they're almost never healthy. And that's where they're at right now. So if they get healthy again and everybody's healthy, then they can maybe they could be Super Bowl contenders. But they got to stay healthy, and they got to stay consistent against teams against games like Pittsburgh. And then us Detroit Lions, we just gotta use this as an opportunity to learn and grow from it. So because they got to play the Vegas Raiders on Monday Night Football next week, and then they have a bye week after, and then hopefully throughout that time, everybody who's injured for us, because I know I'm not making excuses for the Lions having injuries, but we do have quite a bit of injuries right now, and people just need to heal up, and then we'll be ready to go for the second half of the season. The good news is I feel like some of our toughest opponents, which include the Ravens, are out of the way on our schedule already. And, we played the Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champions, and we beat them, and we proved that we can beat anybody with a game like that. And I believe that may still well be the case. That being said, if we want success in the playoffs, if we want to get to the Super Bowl, we got to beat teams that are at the level of the Ravens, which would be like teams like the Eagles or the 49ers and that those type of teams. The only tough team I can think of that the Lions would have remaining on their schedule that would be like that, probably the Dallas Cowboys, maybe the Los Angeles Chargers in their own way, but we just got to get our players healthy and then regroup, and then some people will have some fires lit under their butts to help them get going, and I think we're still going to have a good season. So this one was just one that was not fun to watch today, but that's where I think we're at. Then that's all I'm going to say about this game right now. I know. Oh yeah, Jameson Williams basically did nothing in this game, but Jahmyr Gibbs had a garbage time touchdown, and then he was doing some stuff in this game. I think he looked all right, and the ball was passed around to a bunch of different wide receivers. I'm not going to go over the stats today anyway. I know Lamar Jackson played well enough to where he's probably going to get AFC Player of the Week. And then maybe somebody on Baltimore's defense will get the defensive one. I don't know yet. But anyways, until next time, go Lions, one pride.